Hi guys, today I'll be teaching you how to graph a line on a sketch graph using an equation that is in slope-intersect form. How to graph a slope on a graph using whole numbers, negative numbers, and fractions. I will also teach you how to convert an equation that is in standard form, also known as ax plus by equals c, into a slope-intersect form, which is the equation known as y equals mx plus b. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial and I hope you learn a lot from it. Thank you.
Okay, so first, here's your equation. And as you can see, it's already arranged in the y equals mx plus b. M always goes before x. So we know that m, our slope, is 4 over 2. And the b is always the number without a variable after it. So in this case, it's 5. Make sure before you start naming your slope and your y-intercept that your equation is arranged in the y equals mx plus b form. So b, or your y-intercept, is 5. Now that we know our y-intercept and our slope, we can go ahead and graph our sketch graph. So what we do first is we rule up our graphs using a ruler and make sure to label your graph. Y-axis and the x-axis. So this is a sketch graph, so we only need to write the 2 points that we're going to use, well, the 3 points that we're going to use. So positive 5 would be somewhere around here, let's say. And our slope is 4 over 2. So what we do rise over run. So first I need to rise 4 and go over to the right side since this is a positive slope, since this is a positive 2. So I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be 9, positive 9, and across 2, 1, 2. Let's just say about here. So here we would have a positive 2. And here would be our other point on positive 5. As soon as you have your 2 points, using a ruler, make sure to join up your points together nicely. And although we only have 2 points graphed on this graph, this is a line that goes on a very, very long time, infinity. So make sure to draw 2 arrows at each end of the graph. And there you have it. As you can see, our equation is in the y equals mx plus b form. And this time, our slope is not a fraction. So we're going to write out our slope, which is negative 4, and our b, also known as the y-intercept, is an 8. As you can see, this number is a whole number. So what we have to do is we have to force it to be a fraction. So we just place it over 1. And negative 4 over 1 is the same thing as negative 4. Now that we know our slope and our y-intercept, we're going to go ahead and graph it. We're going to create a graph using a ruler and including our arrows on each end of the graph. I'm going to make sure to label my axis, y and x. And since this is a sketch graph, I do not need to write every single point of the graph. Our y-intercept point is a positive 8. So we're going to go ahead and graph our positive 8 on the y-axis. Our slope is a negative 4 over 1. Because this number is a negative, we're going to have to go down instead of up like before. So we're going to have to go 4 points down, leading us to a 4. So we're going to plot the point on positive 8. And since this is a 4 and this is a 1, we're first going to have to go rise. In this case, we're going to go down instead of rising. And run. which means go across. So we're going to go once across to the right, and we're going to plot our positive 1 over here. So since our y-intercept led us to 4 on the graph, and when we went across to the right, we got a 1, we're going to plot our point over here. Our last step is to join up these points together using a ruler. Although we have only plotted 2 points on the graph, this line goes on forever. So make sure to draw 2 arrows at the end of each point of the line. So there you have it. This is your graph using negative slopes, and I hope you learned. Our next step is to convert this equation, which is in standard form, to a y equals mx plus b equation. So first of all, we need to isolate the y. So in order to isolate the y, we're going to need to rearrange our equation. So we're going to start off by isolating the y. So 6y equals to positive 3x, because once you move a number to the other side of the equal sign, the charge changes. So positive 3x plus 18. Sadly, our y still isn't isolated. So what we have to do is we have to distribute number 6 with the 2 other numbers, dividing those 2 other numbers by 6. So y equals to 3 over 6x plus 18 over 6. Our next step is to divide. So y equals 2, because 3 divided by 6 equals 2, plus 18 divided by 6, which equals 3. Now we have our equation in the y equals mx plus b form. Now we can go ahead and pick out our slope and our y-intercept. So our slope, our m, is the number before the x, which in this case is 2. And our b, which is also known as the y-intercept, is 3 in this case, positive 3. So as you can see, just like our previous equation, our slope is a whole number. So what we need to do is we need to force this number into a fraction, which is going to be 2 over 1. Our next step is to graph these points. As you can see, I have ruled up a sketch graph, and now my next step is to plot my points. So first, I'm going to start off by plotting positive 3 on the y-axis line. So positive 3. And I'm going to use the same method as before, which is rise over 1. In this case, my slope is positive, so I'm going to go up instead of down. So 3, 4, 5. And over 1, so I'm going to go across once to the right, since the number at the bottom is positive. So I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to plot my 1 here. So as you can see, we have 2 points on my graph, and my last step is to rule up my points and join them together. And I need to make sure that I add an arrow at each end of my line, since although I have only ruled up 2 points on this graph, this line actually goes on forever and ever. Another key point that I would like to include, since our slope is positive, our line is going to go to the right. If our slope was negative, our slope would go to the left. This is just a key point that helps me check if my answer is correct. I hope you understand this, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.